an actual non-intervention curve of knowledge being implemented by humanity, or do you think there's been some assist by extraterrestrials in that curve?
German Professor Oberth, who is regarded as the father of rocketry, stated that we had help from others regarding our aerospace industry. Now, exactly what he meant by that is slightly open to interpretation, but it's clear he was talking about extraterrestrial civilizations helping us with our space program. That's certainly something that he was wanting to bring to the forefront.
So what do you think the U.S. military is hiding in terms of extraterrestrials?
They're hiding the technology associated with the propulsion system, because anyone who has the monopoly on this kind of technology, they rule the world. Because when you control the skies and you control the high ground, you control the world. No one can touch you. So that's one reason why they want to keep it extremely black.
Do you think there's any suggestions or information out there that leads you to the conclusion that the United States military and certain NATO military are aligned with certain ET confederations or alliances?
There's been stories about an alliance during the Eisenhower administration going up through the Reagan administration, but I have no actual detailed documentation to prove that, so I cannot comment on that.
What have you heard about people coming out of Skunk Works and various aerospace programs? I'm sure you've talked a little bit off camera, off record with some of these people. What are they telling you?
I interviewed a gentleman who was the co-author of a book called Skunk Works with Ben Rich. He was present at an unveiling ceremony of the F-117, actually before it was rolled out to the public on November 10th, 1988, and during a cafeteria group meeting where the pilots of the F-117s were eating lunch with this co-author, and Ben Rich was present too. One of the pilots came over to the author and just told him, as kind of a side comment, that we have things flying that are beyond belief. And that's consistent with comments made by former Lockheed Skunk Works project engineer Ben Rich, who said that we have things flying that are 50 years beyond what you could possibly even dream of.
What's your view of the STS-48 tape? What's going on in that particular?
I believe that was a smart, brilliant pebble test program using a railgun.
And shooting at?
Shooting at a alien piloted craft, or it might have been a test craft that we built, but they wanted to see if we could attain those velocities to shoot something down.
Do we have bases on the moon or Mars?
I can't prove that, but according to the ARV, which first flew in 1960, 9 years before Apollo 11, we've already been there. Ben Rich said that we've already had that technology. So we've already been there. If you can get to orbit, you can get halfway to anywhere in the universe. That's the whole key. All you got to do is get to orbit, because by that time you don't need to get out of our Earth atmosphere anymore. We don't need to have to deal with the effects of gravity. So just getting into orbit is halfway to getting to anywhere.
Now we've got some astronauts that have come out public too and actually said, Edgar Mitchell and others have come out and said, hey, you know, we've seen them up there. There are ET craft up there. What information do you have, and what's your view about, of the astronauts who've come out and made statements to that effect?
There was a shuttle program during the 90s that had a umbilical cable cord. It was an antenna that was on a large cable approximately 16 miles long. There was a malfunction and that cable snapped, and we knew the length of the cable, and as soon as that happened, a tremendous amount of very strange circular objects with a notch cut out of them started surrounding that cable, and we can gauge the diameter of those craft because they were approximately 1/12 the size of that cable, indicating that they were between 1 and 2 miles in diameter, and they were going behind the cable. So they were just absolutely gigantic craft. So that's some indication that there was other out there at that time.
What is your view on the Philip Corso material, and do you think his book Day After Roswell is factual, or do you suggest that his report there is not credible?
I just don't think there's enough information there and documentation to prove all of Corso's claims. It's certainly possible that that technology, including